Okay, so here we go. We're just going to run a quick dungeon with the, well, let's call it the Ring of Fire Spellblade build. A little something that I rustled up. We'll do this nice and quick, and then we'll break down the build afterwards. And of course, there'll be a build planner linked in the description below. But we'll go over some pretty important information about how the build works and what to look for while we're going through this. So it's a crit-focused, ward-focused build with high mobility. Pretty good AoE. My gear's not the best, so this is very much like a leveling version that you're looking at right here and what we're playing. We've been doing pretty well on the bosses, and survivability has been pretty good, unless, you know, I do something stupid and die. This is on hardcore, and this is probably my third good attempt at getting to level 100, but, you know, a lot of those deaths are me being dumb, so I won't blame the build for that one. What objective have I got here? But it feels pretty slick. Like, we have the flame rush to get into enemies. That gives us a lot of buffs as we do. And then we just AoE everything down in the middle. And it works a treat. What do we got here? Just one bone spire. That's exciting. That's a pretty good single target damage enemy there. I think I actually saw one of the mage summon things. So we'll go do that because they're pretty tanky. It should give a better indication of where the damage is at. What I would say is pretty mid-gear. Let's blow this guy up. I forgot what my buttons were. I was trying to apply the flame rush stuff on him there. All right, so we'll blast out. And we'll go through all of the gear and stats now. So the gear, my gear, what I have in game right now is not a good representation of what I would recommend. So refer to the build planner for most of this. But as you're gearing up, your primary focus is going to be the Flame Wreathed Ring. Now, you can play this without this, but it's a little less clean. Like, the AoE isn't as nice to use. So you can stay like Shadow Strike until you come across one of these. Luckily, it's quite a low level unique, so you'll find it relatively soon as long as your luck isn't absolutely terrible. And then as for the focus for the gear, it's primarily ward generation, whatever way you can do it, through spending mana, through just general ward per second, ward retention, and then all of the normal stuff like your resistances, armor, and crit evasion if you can get that as well. Now, we do benefit really, really well from things like Shred because the attack speed on this one is, like, insane. So you can stack that up into, like, 30, 40, 50 pretty easily. But other than that, there's nothing too exciting here in that regard. Obviously, try and get your crit avoidance as high as possible, armor as high as possible. But if you're following the build guide, there are a few other uniques in that build as well, which I've just not managed to find on this character. So, excuse me, refer to that for the nitty-gritty, but apply those fundamentals while you're leveling up, and that way you can kind of like flex the spots that you don't have. So attack speed, crit, ward, and then just like your regular suite of resistances are really, really, really important for you. And then moving on, we have the idols. You're going to fill in the gaps with your resistances with these, like with most things. But again, you can see I've gone for a crap ton of ward. And also, where I can, I've got some increased area of effect to help me AoE down larger packs of enemies. And increased armor and mana is pretty handy as well because armor's hard to get, or at least it is for me. And then mana will help us with our mana regen because of a passive that we have. So we'll break down the generic passives now. We'll have a little look at what we've got here. So I think like the most sort of important stuff is the ward and ward retention that I've gone for up here. We've got some attack speed, of course, because this build does really well with that. And then just flat intelligence. And we want a lot of intelligence, at least 50 for this build. Spellblade here. Again, pretty bog standard stuff, but we've gone for all the ward regen, sort of flame melee damage as well. Attack speed. And we're working currently through the intelligence and ward over here. But we will go for anything that gives us ward, essentially, like this thing here as well. Again, another reason for you to stack intelligence. We want loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of this. And we are using 2 one-handers. However, if you have a really good, like, 2-handed sword, then feel free to use that as long as it has kind of the right suite of stats on it. Like, again, like crit, attack speed, and even mana. Mana is really, really handy because you want to stack a lot of that. Mana regen, the more mana you get, like, just this build feels insanely good. So Mana regen there, of course, as well. With Wisdom, you want to have lots and lots of mana. So you get 3% increased mana regen for every 100 you have. 300 seems like the sweet spot for me. That's kind of where I always try to aim to be, at least while I'm leveling. Around about 25 mana per second is enough to sustain you for practically forever. 26, 27 probably more so, but like 25 just about gets the job done. And then with Rune Master, we've got Sphere of Protection. We'll have a few more things, of course, in the full level 100 build, which is in the planner. But we're really only just here for Flame Rush because this just synergizes really well with this build. So let's have a little look at the skills then. We have Flame Reef, of course. This is obviously the main damage dealer. We've got Ribbon of Fire. I like the way this feels very great. But I've gone for Catalyst of Ash as well. To fire off those fireballs, because there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with those, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Gone for the Frenzy chance, so this is helping us with not just our damage, but attack speed again. And attack speed, like I said, it's insane. It applies the Armor Shred, the Ignites, we get Ward for each attack that we do, so huge benefits from attack speed. And then going down to here, we've stacked up on the crit, and we've gone into Infernal Alchemy, which gives us even more Ward for critting. But if I did have Flame Reef on this and on my chest, sorry, and also this at level 20, we'd have 2 points in there and then, or 3 points in there total, and then another point in here for just like insane crit chance and insane ward generation. So you're going to be absolutely fucking pumping that stuff. For Flame Ward, gone for, as you'd expect, all of the ward again. Now, I've not gone for the double charges because I want to have that on my chest armor as well, but I'm currently crafting a piece I have in the bank. Hopefully, I don't get screwed by RNGesus on that one, so fingers crossed. But you can go that route if you prefer, but I do much prefer having all of this ward retention because when it's up, I'm practically invincible. And then enchant weapon here, pretty much just anything that gives me flat damage, attack speed, or reduces the mana cost. I don't like Desperation. I don't like this. It's something you could go for, but sorry, not Desperation. Kindling, oh, actually both of these, but Kindling, I don't like it casting itself. It just does it at the worst times ever. And then Desperation, it's not always that great because my mana is like really high all the time, so not getting insane value from that. But I will have one more point to spend, and it's probably just going to go in like Immolating Strike here. Or I might put it up here once I solve my mana issues for myself. But my gear, like I said, I've got like no mana regen. And then the Fireball. And this is why we're using Catalyst of Ash. I can't say that. But we get fire resistant shred from each fireball that fires out. And we're just going to be blasting these into enemies. Like you'll see the fire like shred stack like 10, 20 quite easily, even single target. We get a ton of ignite as well. And then I've just gone ahead and, you know, popped a bunch of damage modifiers for the fireballs themselves here. Giving them Pierce is great, so just fire through an entire pack of enemy and increase your AoE output like insanely. It's actually a lot of fun to watch that go off. And then, yeah, Fire Pen and crit chance. So you can go into Spreading Flame, but we don't stack enough fire damage or spell damage, I don't believe, to really get like that much damage from it. I think even for me, it's like basically nothing. With this gear, maybe if you get enough fire or fire spell damage, stuff like that, it might be worth taking, but I don't think so for now. And then finally, we have Flame Rush over Teleport. And the reason I have this over Teleport is, first and foremost, it's a much lower cooldown. You can use it very frequently, but it has a number of synergistic things for this build. So we can shred fire for enemies that we pass through, and we can get a bunch of bonuses here from the ward and the damage reduction, which we get while we're using Flame Rush, but also can extend to slightly after with this little node here, which I'm looking to finish off. But it all comes together really nice. Like, I've been really enjoying this build, and hopefully we're going to get to level 100 without ripping on hardcore. A lot of the time when I die, it's like I've tried to kill a boss that's way higher level than me. I mean, the content that you just saw there, that was actually 6 levels higher than me, I believe. What monolith am I on? Yeah, I'm on this one. So 6 levels higher than me. So we're not like under leveling those mobs to like one-shot them or anything like that. That's just what the build can do. And yeah, I guess there it is. There's our last Epoch build. And I'm streaming every day over on Twitch. We're playing a lot of this. We'll be doing Gauntlet on D4 when that comes out. But for now, if you liked the video, don't forget to let me know by giving the video a like, leave a comment. And yeah, Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.